Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Skylar Meade, head baseball coach here at Troy University. Skylar, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
And first season as head coach coming up here shortly. But just before we get into talking about the team and the season, all that kind of stuff, just tell me, how are you feeling about starting your head coaching career here at Troy?
I'm sure many people would be shocked to know I'm kind of feel pretty good. I don't really sleep much as is, so my wife gets mad at me when I'm up at 4 or 4:30 in the morning. But really, I feel good. Our guys have made it pretty seamless. They're good kids. They've been totally bought in. They work really hard. I mean, I know there's going to be some things that are minor roller coasters mentally through the season, but I feel good. We love Troy. And I could say that for the rest of our staff that's new as well. Everybody's been incredibly welcoming, and this community and the support with baseball, we've already felt it, and I know we'll feel it more when we start next Friday.
And of course, with that, we talk about your coaching staff and building that up. And all part of this is building up and establishing your program. And so talk a little bit about like how that process of getting all the right pieces in place to get where you are today and getting ready for the season.
Well, that's the first thing you have to do. Anybody that's new, you got to establish culture. What are the expectations? You have to lay them out, be thorough and clear and concise as to what that is. You know, for us, we obviously ask a lot of our guys in terms of their work ethic. We ask that they do the right things in the classroom. We ask they do the right things on and off the field, be respectable. But we ask them to push to limits they've never been before. And that can be uncomfortable for people. It can be uncomfortable for anyone in any line of work. And so we want our guys to do that, but we also try to do it with an atmosphere that creates fun and creates that elevated level of competition. And so, you know, we had to start that immediately in August. You know, the first team meeting, I think, set the tone for that. And, you know, you fast forward 6 months later, I think our guys understand to this point what it takes. Now, when you get into the season, you have the trials and tribulations. There's going to be things that they haven't gone through. There's going to be a guy that has a day where he comes in a little upset and mopey because of a bad game. We'll address that when it comes. But in terms of the systematic stuff that we can control as coaches about laying the foundation, I think we're in a really good place right now.
Well, let's talk a little about that and what you've seen so far here. And how is the team looking as we gear up to this first game?
Well, you know, these last 3 days are going to be big in terms of just kind of as we try to iron some things out. I mean, we don't have lineups set. You know, we're still figuring out roles with pitchers. And I say that, and it's a good thing. It's a good problem to not totally know. So there's competition. You know, you have 13, 14 guys really battling for the 9 spots on the field. And there's going to be multiple guys that play early on. I mean, that's just what we have. We think we're fortunate with some older hitters, some guys that are experienced who are going to be able to do that and handle the right matchups so that they're successful. You know, pitching-wise, we don't have, tons of numbers and depth per se, but I think the guys that have exhibited the ability to be trusted, throwing the most strikes, have multiple pitches in the zone, those are the guys that are going to see the most innings. What we'll need to do is some of those guys that end up being starters, we're going to need them to, be durable and strong and give us a lot of innings. But I like that we do simple things well. We play really good defense. We're solid up the middle, especially on that end. The older hitters are in a really good place mentally and physically. And, some of these arms have really improved their stuff in their repertoire.
And of course, talk a little about personnel. We don't have to get into specifics, but obviously, new coach, new team, you don't really know about the transition from one season to the other, but you have had a chance to bring in some new personnel and do some other things for the players to get this team ready. Yeah,
we have. Obviously there's some very good players that were here when we came in. There's guys that experienced college baseball players, Jesse Hall, who's been around for a long time, Donovan Wisman, a solid player, Caleb Artolero is as talented a player as there probably is in the Sun Belt when he's right. Stearns, all those guys offensively. Obviously Gary Gaines was, Sun Belt Freshman of the Year and I think has really risen to the occasion in the preseason to what he's doing. We brought in some transfers in our, really a couple weeks from getting the job to school starting, and Trey Leonard, Colin Summerhill, and Brady Moore, who are all incredibly athletic kids and can stick it a little bit. So it's a good blend. What makes us happy as coaches, and I guess maybe myself most as the head coach, is our guys have all morphed together really well. They're very supportive of one another. They know they're competing against one another. They're not naive to that, yeah. but they also, there's not that like rivalry that can create the wrong vibe within your team.
And of course, talk about the opening up the season. You get the chance to open up at home. So as a new coach, as a season starts, it's got to feel good to be able to be on the home field for that opening weekend. So.
Yes, that is the power of being in the South. During my Michigan State days, that would never happen. You're having to chase the warmth, but now we're excited. We get to play in front of our home fans, 4 games that first weekend against Holy Cross, and we have a great home slate throughout the course of the year. But it's going to become a situation where, and you asked the question earlier, how do you feel? And I feel totally fine. I would be probably disingenuous if I said maybe about 3:58, 3:59, a minute or two before first pitch of next week. You don't have a different feel. You wouldn't be a competitor if you didn't have some sort of different feeling deep within your body, which I'm just excited to see that. I'm excited to see the fans. The support around here has been great in the lead up. So I just want to see what it all looks like when it comes together.
At 4 o'clock on first Friday against Holy Cross. Good luck, and good luck on the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.